Hello.
It's warm in my apartment, so I brought out the fan. I don't normally do it for Survivor, but today
Good enough.
we did. Ah, hello, castaways, Survivor people, all of those things, I guess. And welcome to the Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. I just finished my kombucha, not sponsored by Brew Doctor, but God, I wish we were. And I am drinking lemon water because hydration is very important, and I like citrus fruits.
And my name is Jack. This episode made me feel things and mostly old because I've grown up with Pokemon for too long. And yes, me saying I'm old when I'm only 21 is something that I should get looked at.
I think you should, because how do you think I feel?
Yeah.
But no, we will talk about the Pokemon of it all, because for once I was like, I feel seen on Survivor.
And then it came in the most, we'll get there, but it was the most violent whiplash I've ever felt.
Honestly. So, we are back. It is episode 5 of Survivor 45. The last episode of the pre-merge.
Still feels way too early.
But this is how early it's been every season in the new era, Jack. So
Yeah, for some fucking reason.
I'm not mad at it, honestly. I predicted it. I literally, commercials came on before the preview for next week, and I told my roommate, I was like, it's gonna be merge. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be merge of some situation. We'll talk about it. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe. We're here every single day of the week giving you some sort of content. So we're here, we're doing things and stuff and things. And let's just dive in, Jack.
Let's dive in.
I started this episode and I was like, why are we getting so much of last episode? And then I remembered we get previously on Survivors this season.
Surprise!
I have to say, I really do think Jeff and the other producers listen to the fans, because we got previously on Survivors, we have a full intro video. The bad twists are gone and the good twists are still here. And some of the old bad twists have been twisted to now where they're good again, kind of. And I think they took all of the good things, for the most part, that came from the first 4 seasons of the new era of Survivor and really built this season into being really fun. I'm having fun watching Survivor again.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy. I've enjoyed all 5 of these episodes, really. But we come back from Tribal Council, where Sean asked to be voted out and has since regretted that decision. And I don't want to dwell on it too much because I'm still annoyed at it, quite honestly and frankly.
Yeah. It's a weird position where it's like you asked to be voted out, but we couldn't tell. And it was obvious that some of the other players couldn't tell that you kind of only decided it in the moment.
I don't know how much of his exit interview stuff you've seen, Jack, or the audience, quite frankly. But Sean talked a lot in his exit interviews about how he regretted quitting. Like there was major regret there, and that decision that he made was spurred by Jeff asking, well, if this is your last day, what is it all about? And I really wish that Jeff would save that question for the end game. Like, why are we bringing this up on day 9?
Unless it is 1,000% guaranteed that someone is going out and there's obviously no chance of them surviving, why would you ever bring that question up? Because all that does is signal to the player, you are the vote.
You are going home.
And even so then.
Yeah. Anyway. We go to the next day. It's day 10. And Jack, we're going to talk about all 3 of the tribe things because they keep cutting back and forth from tribe to tribe, which again, I love. Thank you for 90-minute episodes, because really, honestly, that has also increased my viewing experience and my love of this.
Yeah.
I loved it because when I watched last night, I watched Drag Race Brazil straight into Survivor, straight into Amazing Race, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful and lovely and lovely and beautiful, and I really did enjoy it. But where do you want to start, Jack?
I think the easiest place is to start at Reba, because Sifu, at the very, very end of that tribal, gets a simple question out of Sean. Did you vote for me? And the answer, no. And everyone is then looking around, like, specifically the three ladies are like, so Sean quit the game after deciding not to work with us anymore and not blind Sifu.
Yeah.
But then threw us all under the bus. So everyone is pissed at Sean because now Sifu is paranoid that someone voted for him, and he is an idol. Almost.
Which he doesn't. Yeah, I think the frustrating part here is the quit, basically coupled with the fact that Sifu did get a vote from D, then coupled with the fact that they were trying to blindside Sifu, which is a really difficult phrase to say, blindside Sifu. But they're trying to blindside Sifu. D still votes for Sifu. And then Sean on the way out being like, no, I didn't vote for you. It's frustrating to me. And I
mean, I don't even think maybe Sean realized at the time what that meant. And
no, I don't think so either.
But it's still annoying. It's still incredibly annoying because now Sifu is a full problem. And Sifu, in order to try and save himself a little bit, he has an idol, except for the fact that it's fake.
I love the way that he's kind of gone about the last couple of days, just like subtly grabbing ingredients to make this fake idol. And I mean, all three of the ladies at Reba are really convinced that, he has that idol. They all denied voting for Sifu. And so Sifu has come to this kind of conclusion, whether he believes it or not, he vocalizes, oh, well, Sean must have voted for me. But in his mind, he knows I voted for Sean, which means one of the other two ladies must have voted for D. The math ain't mathin' here.
It's so weird.
And so
and as such, they begin to scramble.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out how are we going to do damage control in this scenario. And one of the interesting things that happened is Sifu just casually at camp is talking to J Maya, talking about his approach to martial arts, saying that he likes to catch his opponent off guard. And so J Maya took that as, okay, Sifu thinks it was me. So they concoct this plan to convince Sifu that she is the one that voted for him so that he doesn't play his idol, which is definitely a fake. And in this case, then Dee and Julie can vote him out. However,
the amount of weird spiraling that goes on here is really interesting. J Maya tells Dee and Julie, hey, so I did this to get this off your back. And Dee and Julie in the back go, what if we just vote out J Maya?
Yeah.
Which, no, stop it. No, but also smart.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the merge kind of dynamics. I don't think this move is ultimately going to be good for J Maya.
Definitely isn't.
I don't think it's going to be. Let's go Let's go to Bello then.
Yeah.
So they're all talking about food. We get our very classic Survivor. I'm hungry. What do we eat? Dreaming about food from home. And my favorite of the foods that they all dreamt for was Emily dreaming for vegetarian chili. That's what did it for me. I was like, sure, sure.
Why
And so
not?
we see classic. Somebody decides to try to eat bugs every season, and this season it's Kendra.
And it goes. She doesn't completely puke.
No, she gets it. I think she would have been good had she had water a little. I think if she had taken water, then the worm, then more water, I think she would have been successful. But she just throws it back like a pill, and it ultimately gets stuck in her throat. And she's like, now, blah, blah. I'm just like, I love Kendra.
So good. And I mean, I can't say anything other than Queen.
She's not giving me, like, gameplay wise and personality wise, she's not giving me Carolyn, but she's giving me that same sort of euphoric feeling watching her, like I did watching Carolyn. I would say watching Marianne as well. Similar but different. I would say watching like Shan. Like, I would put all of those players in a very, like, I'm happy every time I see them on my screen because I know they're going to give good, campy content on this show. And that's really what I enjoy about Kendra.
Yeah.
But speaking of Kendra, Brando's a little concerned because he got swapped onto this new Bello with the one person on the original Bello that he was not the closest with, that being Kendra. And he can tell already that Austin and Drew are very, very well connected. And we all know Emily is in the middle, which who would have fucking thought Emily in the middle at this point, having had the start to this game that she did.
I genuinely think she managed to position herself in a really, really smart way. And I think it's also the luck of the swap where she got
the most luck from the swap. Hands down. I was like,
so good.
Because I think the moment she gets swapped onto a tribe with Bruce, she's gone. So especially if she got swapped onto that tribe with Bruce, and if it was literally just swap, like, I don't know, Kelly for Emily per se, the first time they go to tribal, which they don't, we'll talk about it, but the first time they go to tribal, Emily's gone.
It's over. Yeah.
So but she got swapped into a great position. And so Brando is like, I don't know who to try to align with the most. So he decides to try to align with Drew.
And there is a whole it feels like 2-minute segment about
it had to have been
Pokemon. Now, some very important notes. They didn't realize at the time, but Austin is on the exact same wavelength.
Yeah.
Austin has played Pokemon competitively. If you know Wolfie from a very popular
but of course I do.
He is good friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no.
Wow.
He knows Austin.
Oh, that's incredible.
So yeah,
and if the thing is, this would have worked if that tribe consisted of Austin, Drew, Brando, I would say maybe Emily to an extent, but also Jake. Because one of the things I've loved learning about Jake in the preseason is seeing that he is just a giant nerd. And he just started watching Drag Race as well, which I'm like, Jake, yes, you are our people. that's my draft pick right there. I'm thrilled. But for the first time, I think ever on Survivor, I watched this whole Pokemon scene going down between Brando and Drew, and I was like, I feel seen.
It's like, okay, they're talking about Pokemon Go. That's pretty. Oh my God, they're mentioning specific term. Oh my God, they're talking about competitive.
Drew was a VGC player competitively. Oh my God, they're talking about the Masuda method. Oh my God, like both of us clearly were just like, oh my God, because if you don't know, first and foremost, go follow Jack on Twitter. Second and foremost, go follow Jack on Twitch. And if I remember right, most of your content is Pokemon content. Exactly.
It's Pokemon and Teamfight Tactics, which isn't related.
Jack, stop. I'll be back.
Okay, so these aren't like surface level terms. These are people who know Pokemon and know it well. So to hear all of these terms just mentioned out of nowhere, I genuinely just had to take a moment to go, I feel seen, but I also feel attacked because why do I recognize these words?
Hello, I'm back.
Yes.
I meant to before the recording and I completely forgot to, but I had to bring out my babies today. Some of them. So I've got Pumpkaboo because it's very spoopy season. With Bound Sweet because obviously. And Chikorita with her leaf. My babies. So I was so thrilled. I was like, yes! I love it!
It was also just the weirdest out-of-body experience I think I've ever had, where it's like, why do I know these terms? And, this would have been the perfect foundation for an alliance.
Oh, it would have been so fucking good, Jack. Unfortunately,
Drew shoots it down.
Drew in confessionals goes, and I quote, "This alliance is garbage." And I'm like, no, Drew! No! Look at this Chikorita! How dare you!
Literally, I was like, I was watching, I was like, oh my God. And they were talking about how the nerds always get knocked out early. And Brando's like, so, do you want to work together? And Drew was like, no.
Straight up tells him.
My mind just went blank because how do you just say no? Like,
so confidently.
Like, Drew's ass is absolutely going to be grass to that. But, like, the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, you don't turn down any alliance on Survivor. Like, damn. So now it's back to where we were at the start of the tribe swap, which is Kendra and Brando versus Austin and Drew with Emily in the middle. So that is kind of where we leave Bello for now. And we'll get a little bit more Bello content here in a little bit. But we must now... I'm going to leave Chikorita right there. For now, we got to move on to Lulu, where, oh boy, a lot happens with Lulu in this episode. Like,
a weird amount.
So we start, and we get what was alluded to in the trailer from last week's episode, and we see Jake fainting. Again, because he had done it at Original Bello a couple days ago. Thank God he got swapped into the best possible position physically, because he's got Kelly, who's a critical care nurse, on his tribe. But then we get a lot of Jake's backstory, talking about how his journey to getting healthier and having a binge eating disorder and coming back from that, and combating that, getting healthier, all those kinds of things. I saw a lot of negative backlash online about it, Jack. I don't know if you did. I saw a lot of people talking about it. And here's what I'm going to say. As someone who is a more fuller figured person myself, I understand where people are coming from, because the former fat person, quote unquote, storyline is not always the best thing. What I will say is, it's not that he was formerly a fat person and just decided out of the blue to combat that. He had a binge eating disorder, and through remedying that, got healthier. So for me, I watched that and I was immediately like, oh my God, that's fucking incredible.
That's
I have
got evidence of.
Okay, cool. I have nothing but admiration for him. And at the end of the day, like, it's not like he's going on this show in his confessionals and being like, fat people are horrible, be skinny. That's not what he's saying. He's saying, this is my experience. I suffered from this disease, and I've worked very hard to combat that because I needed to do that for my health. And I think that's incredible.
That's what I got out of it as well. It was very much not saying like being fat is not okay.
Yeah.
Because there are a multitude of factors that lead to someone's health, weight, and those who are heavier figured can in fact be very healthy. And it's just how their body is.
Hello, nice to meet you. It's me.
I'm in a very similar position.
Yeah.
But the part that he was combating was binge eating. And that's something that I even struggle with. So to see that positive storyline of like, there is a way out of eating disorders, because this is a type of eating disorder. It just looks the opposite of what typical eating disorders look like.
Yeah.
That was a positive.
Yeah.
And it does scare me to see that, I mean, just don't stand up too fast, and that was a solution. But still, it's alarming to see this happen over and over again.
And see, that would be my reason, because I technically am medically unfit to play Survivor, and it has nothing to do with my body specifically. It has to do with the fact that I have vertigo. When my vertigo gets really bad, my blood sugar drops and I get lightheaded. So, like, I wouldn't be able to. So seeing that happen as well, I was like, ah, shit. Like, I know what that feels like, and it's not fun. But moving beyond that, we see all of the tribe going out, getting water, and Katora is searching for an idol. And she gets caught.
God damn it, Katura.
I'm worried for Katora. I'm going to be really honest. I'm worried.
I don't see her lasting long, because now her entire tribe doesn't trust her.
Well, there is one person that does trust her, and that's Caleb. And that's why Caleb called out to her in that moment, and then pulls her aside later and says, I called you out to give you a heads up, and I want to work with you. And Katora took that as, oh, this is an action that he is doing. I trust him. Unfortunately for Katora, Caleb is kind of working with everybody. And so is Kelly. And this is the moment where we see all of them making their connections. And then ultimately, Caleb is like, the one person I feel like I don't have the best connection with is Kelly. However, everyone else wants to also work with Kelly. So I think I need to be working with Kelly. And I love this alliance. I love Caleb, and I'm already a huge fan of Kelly as well. I mean, let's go lesbians. So I was thrilled to see this alliance happen. Whether this continues into merge, we'll see. So, and then once again, we get a cute little Katora moment later where she's complaining about Bruce. And she got another crossfade talking about Bruce.
It's gonna be a boil over at some point where it's like,
oh, I think it's gonna be a boil over next week.
Yeah,
because now
it's
that
gonna
they're
be
all
awkward.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm really interested to see where tribal lines end up falling, because for the first time in the new era, we have this swap where like things are a little bit more complicated than we thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But let's talk about the challenge. It is reward and immunity. The first place tribe is going to receive 10 fresh fish and fixings. There was lemon. I think there were some herbs and spices, the whole thing. And the second tribe got 5 fish, which honestly, I looked at this and I don't know if you agree, Jack. I was like, this is one of the best food rewards we've seen in the new era.
Yeah.
Like
just
that,
like straight up food.
On a full tribe, that's 2 fish each.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for this new era. I think they also listened to us saying, hey, don't fully starve these people anymore. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But
just a little bit of not dying would be great.
Yeah. So the challenge is you have this big wooden jungle gym. You've got to go through, up, down, around to grab 3 bags with keys in them. So 3 tribe members will do that. The 4th tribe member will then use the keys inside the bags to unlock their locks, to get this giant pole, to then maneuver some rope, to then release all of their sandbags. And then the first 3 tribe members will then use those sandbags to knock down 1 target each. And as usual, the first 2 tribes to complete that win immunity. And I was really happy to see this as well, because I do really like Reba as a tribe on a whole right now. This was a Reba just showcase in this challenge. They knocked it out of the park from start to finish.
Oh, they killed it. It wasn't close. Well, it was close at the beginning, but
it was very close at the beginning. It ends up getting a little bit closer when you get to the shooting portion of the challenge. I really like this challenge. It's different enough, but it still has all those classic Survivor elements you got in a tribal immunity. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Would you have wanted to go in the jungle gym, Jack, or would you have wanted to? Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I would have wanted to go in the jungle gym, because the people in the jungle gym then got to shoot targets.
Yeah.
The person who undid the knot and then undid the bag of larger sandbags, that was all they did. They basically just stood in one area the whole time, which was a little strange. I'm not going to lie, but I mean,
yeah, I thought there was going to be a little bit more interactivity. I mean, they had to do the keys as well, so I guess there's like a little bit more to the challenge itself. But
I think it was simply because the swap was last episode, so they knew that there'd be 4 people no matter what. So it's just a weird choice.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, Reba absolutely slays this challenge. Julie gets the key on the first try, and that really did put everybody ahead, seeing as how then on Bello, Drew, I think, had to go through like 5 or 6 different keys in order to get his, and it just put them a little bit more behind. And that's just luck of the draw, unfortunately. But Reba ends up getting a dominant first place finish, and Lulu ends up coming home in second place, meaning that Bello is going to tribal for the first time. But before we do tribal, we have a little journey to go on. Oh, another journey.
Adventure?
Adventure. Ooh. So Reba, for winning the challenge, got to pick one person from their tribe and every other tribe to go on the journey. Reba picked J Maya because she won a rock, paper, scissors over D.
Good for her.
Rock, paper, scissors, not a challenge where you can utilize your big toe, unfortunately. So D didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
And then they pick Kelly from Lulu because she sat out the challenge. And they pick Austin from Bello because he's original Reba. And they were like, oh, he'll be able to give us some information. And he just goes, no.
Uh-huh.
And I think if it was anybody else going on, if it was Dee or Julie going on the journey, I absolutely think he would have given them information. But Austin's not aligned with J Maya. And not aligned with Kelly. So I was like, oh, that's not going to happen, darling. Keep the angel of life. But they go on their journey, and they get to the top after this very arduous journey, and they have a choice between sustenance and strategy. A little twist on the classic journey scenario, but in this case, they're all making the decision together, which is what I loved about this.
It felt different, but in a really nice way.
Exactly. I loved it. So they have to pick between sustenance, which is a sandwich each, and this big like pitcher of juice, or each one of them would receive an amulet that all have to be used together to have power. So we find out that 3 amulets together being used give them the power of an extra vote. 2 amulets give them the power of stealing a vote, and 1 amulet is just a straight up immunity idol. And they straight up said during the journey, like, I think it was Austin that said, oh, well, this gives us incentive to work against each other. Because an idol is a little bit more valuable than an extra vote.
And somehow they went with it, and they chose the amulets over food, which they all needed.
Well, I think they did that. I think J Maya pushing so hard for strategy might have been because she's vegetarian.
Huh.
A lot of people brought that up online, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. But that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you would, in turn, be getting less sustenance than everybody else does. And Austin was pushing for sustenance so hard because he just didn't want that target on his back and all of their backs. And so they do ultimately decide to take the amulets. Austin decided this was a symbol of war. So he is now coming after both J Maya and Kelly, which no, thank you.
We're good.
No, thank you.
We don't need this.
And J Maya, I love in confessionals where J Maya is like, this is the best day of the game for me. And Austin is like, this is the worst day of the game for me. So we go back to Bello, and they all wanted to be respectful about scrambling, which Emily was like, I don't know what that is. I'm used to just chaotic scrambling. But Kendra and Emily decide that Drew is going to be the better target for them over Austin just because of tribe strength situations. Brando attempts to work with the old Reba members to vote, saying that he will vote out Kendra. Brando tried to give his shot in the dark to Drew,
which he denied. He was like, I don't need it. It's fine. I trust you.
Exactly.
I don't trust you. It just...
Yeah. And Drew ends up telling Emily about the conversation. And Emily was like, I don't know why Brando would do that. So she initially believed Brando a little bit more other than Drew. But Emily went to Drew with the information about saying that Brando was saying Drew started the conversation about targeting Kendra. And so it was just like a whole thing. And then Austin gets back and lies kind of about the journey, saying that it was a sweat or sustenance.
And they chose sweat.
And they
And
failed, quote unquote.
Which
they failed.
Is interesting because normally if you fail, you lose your vote. But he didn't lose anything? Suspicious. But no one calls it.
Exactly. Well, I don't even really think it mattered because we'll talk about it in a minute. But Austin, played his advantage, which I don't remember him getting this advantage.
So it was during the camp raid. And Caleb passed it to him, and this makes a very interesting connection.
Ooh, yeah. I do remember that now. Small details I sometimes don't remember. But Austin obviously told Drew the truth later, and they're like, do we use just all of our advantages now?
How many do we use? Do we eject ourselves? Do we run?
Do we use the goodwill? Do we use... I don't remember what the other advantage is, but the advantage is... Oh, the idol, which we'll talk about here shortly. Tribal happens.
Yeah.
Not much happens.
Not much happens.
They're just like... Brando's like, I'm a well-connected player. And Drew's like,
so
Brando's a threat.
Yeah.
So they go to vote. And Austin gets up to vote. And extends the life of his idol by sacrificing his vote. And then subsequently uses his goodwill advantage to get his vote back.
And you know what? That's the goodwill.
That's kind of what you gotta do.
Good. I mean, I think that's why this vote felt so easy to Austin and Drew, is because they knew they could vote together and all they need to do was flip Emily.
So now, if I remember correctly, Austin has this idol then for the next tribal.
Yes.
And he can continue to extend it.
The next time he gets to tribal, or anybody gets to tribal, because, fun fact, the Bellow idol is never found.
Yep.
It's just missing. And who knows what happens to it? Maybe it'll make
will they merge onto Bellow then? I think they will.
I think they will as well.
But we get the vote. The vote goes down, and it is 3-2. It is split. Who did Emily decide to side with? Austin and Drew.
Yeah.
Brando gets voted out as our final pre-merge contestant.
I mean, I really like Brando. Unfortunately, he got surprisingly purpled by this edit. Like, this was the first episode he was kind of like really prevalent.
Yeah, because if you look at the confessional counts, he has the lowest, I think, of all 5 pre-mergers. I was gonna say, I think maybe Hannah had more, but I wasn't sure. So
Hannah has, I believe, 4, and then it's Brando with, I want to say 9 or 10, because it was 3, 2, 0, 0, 5.
Yeah.
He got nothing until this episode where he was eliminated, because the focus had to be on him, and it sucks because I really liked Brando.
I liked him.
But that's where we are.
Next episode, it's Merge!
Merge!
It's Merge. Straight up Merge, it seems like. No Mergatory, no earning your way into Merge. Presumably, they might be hiding that from us. I'm not too
I think
sure.
they might be. I think
they might have
know.
learned. I think they might have learned. I'm gonna err on the side of I think they learned, but
unfortunately, I can't trust them enough
fair
to think that they learned. And
Fair.
honestly, here's the thing. I'm okay with Earn the Merge as long as there isn't some bullshit twist alongside it where suddenly someone is in danger because they got unlucky.
You don't want to break in the hourglass scenario.
Yes, breaking the
Fair.
hourglass was the stupidest twist they ever could have gone with.
But it meant that Erica won, so I don't really care. So,
yeah.
That's that. Party. Thank you for joining us for this recap of episode 5 of Survivor 45. We'll be back next week to talk about episode 6. Same time, same place, different panel. Make sure to subscribe, hit all the buttons except for the dislike, and if you hit that, hit it twice. Go in the description below where you can follow all of our socials at The Cut Pod. You can follow me and Jack. Go subscribe to Jack on Twitch as well. And with that being said, also go get your merch. Link in the description below, including but not limited to Cup Mug. And with all that being said, cheers, Jack.
Cheers. I don't have a mug with me.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Merge. Let us know in the comments. Were you excited to see it merge?
Merge.